Hello, and welcome to another episode of Lunch and Learn with Vince. I'm Vince Marino, and my next guest is Dan Hinch with Concepts NREC. Dan, welcome, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, Vince, glad to be here. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, my name's Dan Hinch. I work at Concepts NREC. I've been here over 20 years. I was at Honeywell gas turbine engines in Phoenix for about 15 years before coming to Concepts, and I played a lot of roles here between running the lab, running the engineering group. I'm more on the sales and marketing side right now.
Awesome. And tell us a little bit about Concepts NREC. My little understanding, I never claim to know more than my guests do, but from what I gathered, it pertains to software, and I think it's computational fluid dynamic software, or that's a component of Concepts NREC software. But tell us a little bit more about the company.
Yeah.
There we go.
You got it. That's a component. Let me share a graphic that kind of helps me explain it.
All right.
First of all, we're a small private company, and we specialize in turbomachinery. Turbomachinery is not only pumps, but fans, blowers, compressors, turbines, and we work from components up to complete products. And we work in a lot of different industries. You can see a list here, not only industrial pumps, space propulsion. We have a pretty active rocket turbo pump business, renewable energy, oil and gas, automotive, which means turbochargers, aerospace, refrigeration, which means chillers. So we work in a lot of different industries. And what do we do then within turbomachinery, within those industries? First of all, we do engineering. We help you figure out what you need. If you need a new pump or a new family of pumps or a new product line, we can help you figure out what that family looks like, and we can design those pumps for you from the hydro side to the mechanical side. So in engineering, it goes from pure consulting to design to prototyping. We can also make it for you. If we design something for you, we'll be glad to make it for you. Or if you have an existing design, you need it manufactured, we can help you there. Whether it's components, just a prototype, a one-off, or a low volume production, our manufacturing shop can handle that whole range. We also can supply you software. The software that we wrote to do design, we also sell. So we have a very active software business. And it's not only a CAE design, but CAM. We also sell software to program your milling machines to make parts. And we have a nice integrated suite of software from the design through CFD, like you mentioned, finite element analysis for the stress side, on through CAM. So we can supply you software if you want to do it yourself. And then down here, it kind of brings us to why I'm here today. We can also teach you how to do it. If you want to learn how to design pumps yourself, we can set you up to do that. We can supply you the software, and then we can teach you how to do the design. We sell textbooks. We sell a textbook on pump design. We teach courses. That's what I want to talk about a bit today. And then we have workshops. If you buy our software or want to buy our software and know how it works, we teach workshops in using the software.
Interesting, Dan. Let me ask you, typically, what type of person typically attends these courses?
Yeah, good question. The courses teach not how to use our software, but more applied how you design a pump and how they work. And I see three types of people coming to our courses. The first is someone who is indeed involved in design. They've been hired to do design at a pump company, and they need more background on how pumps operate. The second type of person is a user of a pump who has to go out and figure out how to purchase a pump breaks, figure out what's wrong or why it's not making the head it's supposed to make. And they want to know more about how a pump works so they can troubleshoot these problems. Now, those are the two main types of people that attend our courses. So there's a third type I'll just call project manager. Often we get someone from a company who has to manage a pump design project. He's not a designer, but he wants to speak the language. We get people from the DoD, the Army and the Navy and the Air Force who have to manage projects with pumps, and they want to be knowledgeable on how pumps operate. So they attend our courses to get up to speed on the nomenclature and just the basics of how pumps work. I'd say those are the three main types of people that attend our courses.
Right. So, you know, a lot's changed the past year and a half or so, and I try to end keep everything on a positive, but let's talk about COVID for a second. In the past, I'm assuming your courses were in person, where you had training facilities and people would fly in. They would stay for what, a week or several days?
Yeah. Here's a picture of our office in Vermont where we have our courses, and this little bump out here is our classroom. It can hold up to maybe 20, 30 people at the most. But before COVID, our pump course was in person. It was a week long, very intense, long week. And with COVID starting last year, we had to stop doing it in person. So we've gone online. It's worked pretty well. We've still had the courses online and good attendance. At the end of each course, we send out a survey. What did you think about the course? You know, the pluses and the minuses. And one question we ask now is, if we didn't have COVID, would you rather be in person at our office, or would you rather be online like we're doing now? And we've got very mixed results, almost 50-50.
Right.
Some people that have been to our courses say, I really like being there because there's the camaraderie of talking to the other students and finding out how they design pumps at their company. And then our classroom is just full of examples. It's full of pumps and impellers that you can actually see what we're talking about. And some people miss not having that in-person experience. On the other hand, I'll show you in a minute, the online pump course is only half a day now for 2 weeks instead of full day. And people, they've told us two things about doing it online. First of all, I couldn't have come unless you did it online. Aside from COVID, I couldn't have gotten the travel approved. I couldn't have been away from the office for a week. So I'm glad you're doing it online. And the other thing they've said is we appreciate the half-day format because that leaves us the other half day to get other work done. So we've gotten very mixed feedback, and when COVID is over and we have the option of doing it, you know, in the classroom or online, we're going to have to think about the best way to do it because people, you know, appreciate the benefits of doing it each way.
You know, I just yesterday evening, I saw an ad for an online university, and the way they were talking, they were showing headshots of students that said, you know, now I get to take the test on my schedule. Now I get to attend that class, you know, after my child goes to sleep or when the husband goes to work or whatever. Now I can schedule. So I do see that there's some benefits came out of it that enable people to have a little bit more choice and a little more flexibility. And this certainly is one of those opportunities too. So.
Yeah, the new normal after COVID is going to be different, and we haven't quite figured out what it's going to be here, but it's going to definitely be different.
So what can one expect when they sign up? Obviously, they get some kind of acknowledgement from you, and then it's 2 weeks, half days, and you get a syllabus. Do they get a book along with it, or online?
Yeah. There's a pump textbook that if you sign up early enough, will ship to you before the course.
Right.
And we send you the notes. We send you the PowerPoint view graphs ahead of time. So you have those that you can look at online, or you can print out and make notes on, either way.
Okay. So I like to get occasionally stories that you can share with the viewers about a scenario. Like, for example, I came to your course because I was having trouble. Let's say it was a peanut butter factory, right? And I need a special pump to push this peanut butter, and I ended up designing one and with your help and your courses, you have anything along those lines that you can harken back to that you can share some success stories?
Oh yeah, well, pre-COVID, when we did it in the classroom, that's one of the things that people like the most, as I mentioned, is being able to talk about problems like that have happened. So there have been lots of cases. Some of these discussions were over dinner or after class about problems or issues people have had with specific designs, and we offer suggestions on how to improve those problems. Sometimes we model up their pump too, and just work through it that way. So we've had a range of things like that have happened. And it's one thing that makes the course interesting. When we do it online, we still try to keep all the mics open so people can throw in their comments. And it's amazing, even in the pump world, from company to company, the different processes that are used and the different names that are used for even the same part. One company will call it a volute, another company a volute, and it's really amazing from company to company. And also Europe and the US, how different people approach things. And that's another thing that makes the course interesting to hear all that.
Well, not to mention the fact that the electronics, the electricity is different from Europe to the US as far as the way it's measured, and presents all kinds of challenges, I imagine.
Yeah, yeah.
So when we put this out to the viewer, the intended results is to let them know that you're wanting to attract folks that are interested in learning more about how to design or how to problem solve with pumps using the software. Does that then obligate them to have the software, to buy the software, or is it something that they
Oh, no. This is a standalone course where you learn how a pump is designed and how a pump operates. You don't need the software to pick up any of the material.
Great.
On the other hand, one of the advantages of this course that people tend to like is we do real live design examples. So we kind of teach the theory, but then that can be dry and leave you wondering how it's applied. We actually apply that theory and design pumps during the course. We use our software because that's what we have available.
Right.
So you do see the software and how it works, but you don't. That's secondary. We're not trying to sell you software. We're just showing you how a pump is designed with a modern design tool.
Excellent. So let me ask you a question. Off topic of the class training, you indicated that you can actually create a one-off product if necessary within Concepts NREC. So does that mean that if I come to you with a problem, Concepts NREC designs this specific pump for my needs, does that mean it's actually going to have Concepts NREC on the pump itself, much like a Cornell or a Grundfos pump would have on, or a Xylem pump,
No, I think in that mode, when people come to us for help like that, it's often confidential. We don't give out the names of companies we do engineering work for. Right. They're maybe developing a new product line, or they're understaffed, and they don't want to publicize that. So we do work keeping the names confidential, and the clients can then take the design and put whatever they want on the pump, because they have the design to use as they.
I see. Okay.
So it's usually in that mode. You won't see pumps with Concepts on the side, because we don't produce pumps for ourselves. We help other people design and produce pumps.
So when's the next class? And I already have a handful of people in my head that I think would be interested and could benefit from it already. So when is the next class? How do they get in touch with you? How do they get in touch with registering the class? And is there a phone number or an email? So I know that's a lot of questions, but let's get that out there. How does that work?
Yeah, well, let me start, if I can, by going through what we're going to cover in the class.
Excellent.
And then I'll tell you how one would register. So the upcoming pump course is about 2 months from now, in October, towards the end of October. And again, it's broken into 2 weeks, just in the morning, Eastern time, at least. We try to pick the best time to get people in Europe, and also people on the West Coast, as well as people already on the East Coast. This is one of our most popular and most intense courses. We cover a lot of material, and let me just quickly go through the outline of what we cover. The first day, it's kind of foundational stuff to get up to speed on terminology for someone that's just starting in the pump world. The names of the different parts of the pump, what they do, pretty basic stuff, different types of pumps, single stage, multi-stage, different applications. We kind of just do a big picture overview. And then the second part of that day, turbomachinery essentials goes back to the theory a bit, how turbomachinery works on a fundamental basis, the physics behind it, and basic modeling in pumps to kind of set the stage for the rest of the week. And I want to talk more about that in just a second. People really enjoy design examples. So in the second day, we jump right into some design examples. So you can see all these parts of a pump, how they fit in the design, and how you basically design those different components of a pump. Third day, we start diving into some real details, understanding how a pump impeller works. How does a pump impeller make head? How does it create flow to happen? We get into a lot of detail on that, so you have a good fundamental understanding of how a pump impeller works. We jump to diffuser modeling. A diffuser is an element of a pump that comes after an impeller. Not all pumps even have diffusers, and we talk about why you would want to have a diffuser or not have a diffuser, and how you can improve the performance of your pump by having a diffuser. A lot of this discussion is based on radial pumps. We want to make sure we cover axial pumps too. The essentials, the theory is the same, but it's a different type of design. So we do spend time just on covering axial pump design. We dive into volutes and return channels. If you have a multi-stage pump, a return channel connects each stage together. If you have a single stage pump, it often dumps into a volute. And we talk about what are the tricks in volute design, what can you do to get good performance, what can you do to not put too much radial load on the impeller to load up your bearings. And we also talk about pump stability and recirculation. You want to have wide range with your pump so it's stable from high flow to low flow, and we talk about how to do that. One really meaty session is how you design to avoid cavitation. Back on the first day, we talk about cavitation, what it is on an overall basis, but in this session, we get into the nuts and bolts of how you design a pump to not cavitate. In my mind, the whole week is almost worth this one session if you're having problems with cavitation. So we go into a lot of detail there. That's the first week. Your brain's full by the end of that week, but there's a lot more in the second week. Leakage and thrust is a big topic in pump design, minimizing leakage outside of the pump. And then thrust refers to axial thrust, how much force that impeller is putting on the thrust bearing. And a lot of pumps fail because the thrust bearing or the radial bearings get overloaded. So we talk about all the tricks that are used in pump design to minimize this axial thrust, like pump out vanes and holes through the impeller. So a whole session just on that. Then we go back to doing actual designs. We go through the design process. What is the process to design a pump? How you design it, how you size it, how you pick the number of blades, how you run CFD, what you look for. These are real-time design examples that the class can kind of participate in. What would you do next? How would you fix this problem? And we get ideas from the class. We go into the software and we actually fix the design. This is mainly talking about hydro design. We haven't spent too much time on the mechanical side, and that's very important to pump design. So we've got several sections on mechanical design: stress and deflections, vibration, life, how long is that pump going to last, how you select bearings, seals, and how you do the rotor dynamics. So 3 really important sessions on mechanical design. We've got a session on lab testing. How do you test a pump? How do you know what makes the head you want it to make? How do you test it to get a head flow curve? how do you test it for cavitation, for head breakdown? We go through all that, and we take you down into our pump lab and show you what a pump lab looks like and how you set up the instrumentation, how you make all these measurements. The last two sessions are data modeling. If you have if you work at a pump company, you run a lot of pump tests, you get a lot of data. What do you do with that data? How do you use it to make your pump designs better? So we have a session just talking about that, data modeling and building your correlations. And then the last day, a little more design examples with CFD, and we talk about multi-stage pumps, how you link those together. And then you mentioned CFD coming out of the gate, and CFD is a real important tool used in pump design. So we have a whole session at the end just on advanced CFD techniques and tools.
Interesting.
So that gives you a sense for what happens in that week of training during our pump course.
So this is mid-October and towards the end of October. So the last 2 weeks of October is what we're hoping to attract people to sign up for and attend.
Right. That's where we have openings in our pump course.
Will you have any other? Will you have any other? Excuse me. Will you have any other classes throughout the rest of this year, or are you going to plan some more in next year? Or?
We will. Well, let me show you. First of all, when we taught this pump course, some people without a strong background in fluid dynamics and thermodynamics, they would get bogged down early in the week. And this is kind of the foundation for the rest of the week. So a year ago, we introduced a new course, and this is called the Essential Foundations, Turbomachinery Fundamentals. And it's a very short course. It's only 3 days, half a day, but we focus on those fundamentals to get you primed up for the full course if you need that background. And we do an introduction. We talk about scaling a pump, very fundamental ways to get a new pump design from a pump you have. We talk about the essentials of turbomachinery performance in more detail. We talk about how turbomachinery is designed from a very basic level. We talk about things like range in pumps, boundary layer growth. So there's 4 sessions on the hydro and then 2 sessions on the principles of structural analysis, in case it's been a while since you had that textbook open. So this course is actually coming up, in a few weeks. And we usually give this course a few weeks before the pump course in case you want to get this background and be better prepared for that, the meaty stuff in the pump design course. So that's a course I would recommend to someone who it's been a while since they've been over the fundamentals. If you attend both courses, we give you a discount. You asked what other courses we have, and let me go back to this slide. So we have courses throughout the year. We have a mechanical design course. It's a whole week of just mechanical design of turbomachinery. We do the same 2 courses for a compressor design as opposed to pump design. And then we have other courses on turbocharger design, turbine design, axial compressor design. So these last 2 courses on pump design are the last 2 for this year. We'll repeat all these courses and more next year. We haven't set that schedule yet. We also teach these software workshops. If you purchase our software or want to purchase it and see how it works, learn how it works, like the menus, learn how to implement all this theory, we teach these software workshops for both CAE design and then our CAM design. Yeah, so that gives you a sense of what we do throughout the year.
Wow, that's a ton of information, and I do want to thank you, Dan. I think I learned a little bit here. I get a much clearer understanding. I like the fact that you're independent of the software purchase. I mean, if I'm truly wanting to learn more, I can, and it's obligatory purchase of the software in order to do.
Oh, absolutely not. You can use your own software. You can use your own slide rule, however you want to get the design done. The course will teach you the fundamentals of doing design, so you can do it yourself with whatever tools you have.
The one of the things, I just know enough to be dangerous with all this. I've been doing, this is probably my 10th or 11th recording session that I've done with folks in the pump industry, and I love it. I learned that, and maybe you can help me with this one, a volute. Okay, we're just freewheeling it here. A volute can be a singular object, or there can be a dual volute within the pump structure. And my understanding is by having a dual volute, you actually mitigate a tremendous amount of cavitation and dysfunction. It may take more energy to operate, but it actually can stabilize and give a pump a much longer lifespan. Am I correct on that?
It can. One of the problems in a pump is with a conventional single discharge volute. As you go off design, you get more of a radial load. There's a radial load on the impeller, and that loads up the radial bearings. You can make that volute more look like a uniform collector by having a dual volute. And it helps when you go off design to minimize those radial loads.
Right.
And then you can go to a full collector that doesn't have a single discharge pipe. It's just a big back volume that's a very nice on the load, but harder to manufacture and hook your piping up to.
Right.
So we discussed these options in the volute session, how you design a volute to not have any more radial load than possible and still have the volute perform well aerodynamically.
So here's another question for you. And again, this is just you and me chatting. So I saw Turbomachinery mentioned a few times. So are you guys involved in TPS, the Turbo Pump Symposium?
We are, yes. We attend every year. We're planning to attend this year, COVID permitting. We'll have our booth there, and we're happy to meet everyone there and meet our colleagues hopefully this year that we haven't seen in a long time if we're able to go. So yeah, we're active participants. We're there every year with our booth.
Yeah, it's a great group of people. I've
done
a tremendous amount of work with them in the past and look forward to it. I think we're gonna overcome this COVID thing and move forward. So
we're all ready to get back to whatever the new normal is.
Yeah, me too. All right. Well, unless you want to share a phone number or email address or anything like that.
I do. I want to share something even better.
Please.
Vince, let me put my screen back up. I'd like to offer anyone that attends your podcast a discount to come to our pump design course. To sign up for the course, you go to our website and look for courses, and you get to a page where you sign up, and there's a place to enter a code. And if you enter EPE20, you'll get 20% off of the pump course. And I'd like to welcome and invite everyone, all your listeners, to attend and sign up and get this 20% discount. We'd love to have you at the course and meet you. I'm happy to answer any questions anyone has about the pump course or concepts. And here's my email address. We also have just a general email address for questions about anything, jobs you want done, software demonstrations, whatever you might want. So you can contact us any way listed here.
I love it. That is so 20% off, and it's limited to you have to know the code.
You have to know the code. It's for this year's pump course for people that attend your events. We're glad to do.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for that. I think they're going to like that. Well, Dan, we just went through about 30 minutes of chit chat. That went by pretty quickly, didn't it?
Sure did, yeah.
You want to do it again sometime?
We're glad to, yeah. We can
right.
pick another topic. We'll be glad to come back.
Yeah. Well, listen, in the pump industry, oh my, I'm sure we could come up with dozens of topics. I mean, it's a fascinating story. Pumps have been around since history, and they're a necessary part of our society.
And there are billions of them out there, so it's
right.
a very big industry. Yeah.
I love it. All right, well, let me wrap this up, and we'll look forward to chatting with you guys again. Dan Hinch with Concepts NREC, thank you for your time. You've been
Thanks for having me.
watching, you've been watching Lunch and Learn with Vince, and if you would please like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel, and share it with your friends and your family. And we appreciate you joining us today. Thank you.